A freshman from Orlando, Florida, number 4, Adam Channing.
Hey, what's going on, guys? I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to another episode of Going the Distance, where I go ahead and talk with teammates, with friends, with players from all around the world, and we get to hear their point of view, their journey on where they are today, where they've come from. And yeah, it should be an interesting one. Today, we have Johannes right here. Did I say it correctly? Johannes, is that how you say it?
I mean, in Germany, we say Johannes. The Americans say Johannes, so it's whatever you feel with. So it's up to you.
Yeah. Just to give some background, Johannes is now playing with
Birmingham Legion FC
nice
in Alabama.
In the USL Championship. Yeah, it was very interesting, and he played in Maryland. So I'll go ahead and give it up to you. If you could go ahead and present yourself, just mini introduction, and we'll take it from there.
All right, guys. What's up? I'm Johannes, and I'm 25 years old, and I play, like I already said, I play for Birmingham Legion FC. I signed this year in January, end of January, beginning of February with the team. And before I played college soccer, Division 1 for the University of Maryland the last 3 years. And yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Nice, interesting. So I guess before we get to the college soccer, so I believe you're from Germany, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Right. You were born and raised there. Did you play any other sports when you were younger, or how was that?
No, I mean, I was born and raised in Germany, and I lived there for my whole life until I went to Maryland, until I transferred as a sophomore to University of Maryland.
Okay.
And I mean, in Germany, the main sport is soccer, so I just grew up playing soccer, and that was pretty much the only sport. I did a little bit track and field just to get faster, but that was at a very young age and also for a very short time. So it was basically just soccer, because Germany is this very soccer heavy country where everyone is playing soccer growing up from a very little age. So yeah, I played soccer pretty much the whole time.
Right. And where in Germany were you born and raised?
I was born and raised in it's a little town, a little city. It's called Erfurt. It's pretty much in the middle of Germany. They have a very good academy, youth academy. So I played in the under 17 and under 19. I played Bundesliga. So I played against all the good. In Germany, it's like there are 3 different conferences. So it's the south, the northeast, and the west. And I played in the northeast conference. I played against Werder Bremen, Hertha BSC, Berlin, Hamburg, Wolfsburg, Hannover, against some very good academies. So always on the highest level there, and it was very good, I think, for my development.
Wow.
And I also played for the under 18 and under 19 national team for Germany. So I have I think I have 4 caps. I had a tournament in Israel, where I played against Japan and Portugal, and I played in Germany. I played against Netherlands and France. Yeah, and after that, I had a pretty bad and heavy knee injury, where I was out for a year, and it cost me a little bit my career. But yeah, that's also one reason why I didn't pursue my career in Germany, and why I made a decision to balance education and soccer, and made a decision to go to the United States and pursue my soccer career there.
Wow. Yeah. That's it's tough injury, honestly. So wow, it's very interesting. The career back in Germany seems like you got a lot of experiences with all these different top quality teams, and I'm sure it's helped you a lot with your development. And so the next thing is, so when you were when did you decide? So I know you said after your injury. Is that really when you decided, I want to go and play college soccer over in the States?
I didn't decide it right after my injury or during my injury. I wanted to see how things go in Germany after my injury. I was like, I think I was 17, 18 years old. So I still thought I could make it there. I could play professional there. But it was when I had this heavy injury, it was a transition from youth to men's soccer, and it's already like a big jump, big step from youth to men's soccer. And with this injury, it made it even harder because I needed a lot of time to recover. I was out for over a year, so it took me a long time to recover, to come back, to find my old strength.
Mhm.
And yeah, eventually I still, after the injury, I still played for, I think, 2 more years. And then I decided to then I chose another way because I also realized that education is very important. And I mean, in the United States, you can combine that. You can play on a very high level, on a very good level. I think many people from Europe that don't know a lot about college, they underestimate the college sports in the United States, or in general the college soccer. I mean, college basketball and football is pretty big, but college soccer. So I have German friends that already chose this path, and that went to the United States and played soccer there. And yeah, I always thought about that. I never thought I would do it actually, but then I contacted a friend who works for an agency. They're called Baruby Sports, and then they're also, I think, based in the United States in Florida. So I contacted them, and yeah, they brought me over here.
Right, right. And so how was that process with the transitioning from Germany and into the United States? Like, first of all, did you take any English classes back in Germany? Did that prepare you at least?
Now that I think it was the only problem I had when I came here, the language. So I mean, in Germany we had English in high school, but I mean it was just the basic English. It was not like very much in depth. So you didn't learn any like academic heavy language, so that you can use in school and in college. So yeah, once I made the decision to go to the States, I practiced and studied a lot of English, and I also had to take the TOEFL test. I don't know if you're familiar with the TOEFL test. Yeah, so honestly took the TOEFL test I think 2 times or 3 times, because the first 2 results weren't very good and my English wasn't good. But yeah, luckily I adjusted pretty quickly. When I arrived at Maryland the first semester, I had to take a language class to learn like English at a very fast increased pace. But yeah, after this semester I think it got better significantly. And yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's interesting. And so, so how'd you make the move? I know you said you contacted a friend that knew an agency. How was that entire process going from Germany to the States?
So
and how did you find that option in Maryland?
Yeah, my friend, he actually works for the agency. He's a couple years older than me, but we went to the same youth academy in Germany. He's from the same city there, and I've known him for a long time. And he has always been telling me that if I want to go to the United States and if I want to play soccer there, then he can help me with that. So after this injury and after 2 more years playing after this injury in Germany, I made a decision to go to the States. And I contacted him and said, "Hey, what's up? Is there any chance you can help me bring me to the United States?" He said, "Yeah, of course," because he basically owns this agency, and he has a lot of contacts. And then we created a recruiting profile. I uploaded a highlight video. That's like the usual process. And he helped me with all the paperwork, getting my visa, applying to fill out the stuff for the schools. And yeah, he helped me with that. And then we got several offers from different schools. And yeah, then I eventually ended up in Maryland.
Wow. Yeah, that's very, very interesting. And so how was the transition, not only language based, but also culturally? Well, was there a cultural difference, cultural shock and just that transition, living in Germany all your life to all of a sudden living all the way up north in Maryland, in the United States. How was that transition?
I wouldn't say culturally it wasn't a big difference, because I think it's like Europe and especially Germany and the United States are culturally not that different. It's just more like the little things. I mean, the food is a little bit different. It's a little bit more fast food heavy, and they're like different things. It's up, but I think it wasn't like the biggest difference was just the language for me, but there weren't big cultural differences where I said I can't deal with that or something like that. So that wasn't the case.
All right. And so your first year playing college soccer, how was that experience as a sophomore, I believe you? So you had taken freshman year in Germany, correct? And entered your sophomore year?
Yeah. I transferred as a sophomore. And yeah, I would say, I came over to the States with absolutely no expectations. I didn't know what to expect and how the level would be. So I was pretty surprised positively, because the tempo was pretty high and was pretty physical, pretty athletic. And yeah, it honestly, it's also the college model. The college season is a little bit different than anywhere else. So you play from you play from August to December, and this short period of time is a lot of games are squeezed in. So it's pretty like it's a challenge, because you also have to go to school and have to play like almost every 3-4 days. So I think that was the biggest challenge for me, to keep up with the physicality. And sometimes you're exhausted, you get a little knock, you a little bit go into a game injured, and then you have to still play, because you play every 4 days. It's not a lot of time to recover. And I think that was the biggest difference, to handle both, like going to school but also playing a game every 3 and 4 days. And sometimes you sit on the plane, and you sometimes sit in the plane and fly to games because they are far away. And I think that was the biggest difference and the biggest adjustment I had to make.
Yeah. Maybe talk to us about a little bit that experience of traveling that far, because I'm a freshman. I just started this year, and we never took a plane. We never had a game that far. So how was that experience? Going on a plane and flying to just play a game. I've never had that experience.
Actually, I like it a lot. I liked it a lot to fly to games during college season. So what we usually do, that's like a Maryland tradition, the first game we always have at the West Coast. So we always fly to the West Coast. So we played, for example, our first game we played against of the first year. The first away game was at Santa Clara. That's in Silicon Valley. So we played there. Then the second year we played in Washington against Seattle, against University of Washington in Seattle. And the third year, my last year, we played at UCLA. So we always had the trip to the West Coast, plus the Final Four tournament at Santa Barbara. So there were, I think, the most exciting trips, because you're always on the East Coast, and then you see the nice weather, especially if you travel there during the winter, during like some colder times, and you go there. But also when we flew to Michigan, to Ohio, we flew to Michigan, Ohio, like I said, to the West Coast, and we made several trips. It was pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
We only, like, out of all these away games, we had, I think, 2 games we traveled by bus, and the other games we flew. Like, also, like, Indiana was pretty far away, and we flew to all these games. I think the only game we drove to by bus was to Penn State, I think, and I can't remember the other one, but yeah.
Oh yeah, that's very interesting. Very, very interesting experience there. And so I did a little bit of research. I checking you out through the stats of throughout your years, but I thought maybe you should talk to us about how you transitioned from your sophomore, junior, all the way up into your senior year on the field as a soccer player.
I think at the beginning it was my sophomore year. I played all the 3 years, and I played pretty much all the games. I think I played over the last 3 years, I played 60 games over almost full distance. Maybe I went out due to injury last 5 minutes or something like that. But other than that, I played all the time. And I would say as a sophomore, I needed time to adjust to the physicality, to the physical level of the college soccer. And I also needed time to adjust in terms of my leadership because my English wasn't good back then. And I was sometimes tough to give instruction on the field or to talk to people, to my teammates during the halftime or before the game and say to them something, give them some instructions. But I think after, especially because the season is very short, so you don't have really time to adjust or to learn. So, but it was still a pretty good season for me personally, and it was a pretty good start, pretty good first year, I would say. And yeah, then I worked hard in the spring. In the spring, we basically practiced every day, worked out every day, and I think I developed a lot as a player there, personally as well as soccer-wise. And I think I had already a pretty good junior year. I mean, we won the national title in 2018, so the whole team played very well, even though we didn't have a good start, but we ended the tournament obviously very well. We had the Final Four in Santa Barbara and won the championship, won the title. So I think I saw my performance increased a lot from sophomore year to junior year. And I think my best season, I mean, I already had a very, very good season during my junior year, but I think my best season was during my last year, my senior year. I was the captain of the team. I was leading the team, and I think I had a very strong season in this last year.
Yeah.
I was leading the team, and also physical. I could keep up, and I knew what to expect. I knew how to handle school and soccer. So, and my English was not very good, but much better compared to 2 years ago. So yeah, it was, I would say, definitely my best season.
Definitely. Yeah. Just little increments of improvement, and that's very important. And so so how you want to run us through the whole journey of from the very first game to the last game of the season and actually winning the Division I title, which is probably if it is the biggest thing in college soccer to win. So how was that whole process, physically, mentally, just the whole journey? And I think that would be very interesting to hear.
Yeah, that was a quite interesting season because we didn't win one of our first 5 games. So I think we lost 2 games and tied 3 games out of the first 5 games. And after that, we kind of, I would say, took off. So we had a pretty good run. We still tied games, won games, lost games, but I could tell and I could see that we got more stable and that we really improved a lot and learned a lot from the season. So what our coach usually does is he schedules very strong teams, very strong competitors, so that we are like challenged throughout the season, that we go good prepared into the into the postseason, into the playoff games, and that we knew what to expect. And yeah, like I said, we played very tough games. Didn't win one of the first 5 games, and there was already you could sense the tension in the air. You could sense that everyone got a little bit nervous because we had high expectations and we knew we had a good team. We still believed in ourselves, but you know how it is in soccer. If you don't win 5 consecutive games, you think, what am I doing wrong? And we analyzed all the things, and then we got back on the road and we started winning games. And going into the postseason, the playoff games, we were aware that if we lose a game, it's done. Our season is done. And we started. We had a pretty good run. Then I think we had the first game, the first round we had a bye because we were pretty high ranked. Then the second round we played at home against NC State, and we absolutely, although we didn't know much about the opponent, But yeah, this game I can still remember that game. We played a pretty good game. We were strong in the defense and scored some good goals, and we won this game 2-0. Then we traveled to Duke. They were ranked, I think, 5th or 6th, and we knew that they were a very good team, very good soccer team that could keep the ball, that had a very good ball circulation, that could possess the ball. So they were pretty technical. We knew what to expect, and we went into this game. They were actually pretty good. They were keeping the ball a lot, and yeah, but we used they had 2 turnovers, or we actually scored one very nice goal, and the other goal was a turnover, and we were strong in the defense again, had a clean sheet, and we won this game 2-0 again. And after Duke, there was a 3rd round already. Then we traveled to Kentucky. Until then, Kentucky was unbeaten. They won 19. They were ranked 2nd, I think. They won 19 games, and I think they just tied 1 game, and they didn't lose any games. So it was a pretty heavy challenge on the road, and yeah, we knew what to expect. It's a pretty heated atmosphere there. They got a decent crowd, and we knew it's gonna be a very physical game, a very tough opponent, but we also won this game 1-0. Again, we had a clean sheet again and scored a very nice goal. And yeah, we were around this time. We knew we developed the sense that we are invincible. You could tell from game to game, we made a big step. We got stronger, we got better, we got more confidence with every win, and we knew only ourselves can beat us. So we knew as long as we play good, as long as we are confident and have this mental toughness, this mental awareness, we could win against anyone. And moving from Kentucky to, after Kentucky, there was the Elite Eight. We went to the Final Four tournament in Santa Barbara. So that was pretty cool because it was during the winter, it was in December. So we flew to Cali, to Santa Barbara, had a nice place there, hotel right at the ocean, and stayed there for 1 week. And we played in the semifinal. We played Indiana. I would say that was the toughest game of the season because we already played Indiana throughout the season 2 times, and we lost both games during the season. So we played them a 3rd time in this season, and yeah, we knew we could beat them. It was just like to overcome this mental barrier because we lost, like I said, we lost against them throughout the season 2 times. So we went into the game and scored, I think, in the first half, we scored a pretty early goal, went up 1-0, and were strong in the defense again, kept a clean sheet, and scored a couple minutes before the end, scored a 2nd goal. So that's how we won the semifinal. And then 3 days after, or 2 days after, the semifinal was on Friday. And on Sunday, we played against Akron. We also knew Akron is a very good team. I think they were pretty much, I don't know if they were unbeaten, but they had a very strong season as well. And yeah, we were still, both teams were tired from the semifinal because the game was Friday and the final was Sunday. But they won their semifinal, I think 5-1 against Michigan State, so they could rest a little bit the second half because they went up. They were winning pretty early in the game. So we went into the game. It was a very tight game, but it was a very competitive game, I would say. But then I think it was in the second half, they had a corner and they cleared the ball, not pretty far. And I went to the ball and was having a touch with my head. And yeah, one player fouled me. He wanted to clear the ball, but I was hitting my head, was hitting me in the face. So there was the ref called a PK, and yeah, we scored this PK, and there was the goal that led us to the title. Yeah, that was basically our story. We kept the clean sheet again, so we didn't concede a goal, throughout the whole playoffs. And yeah, that's how we won the title. And it was after the ref called the game, it was a pretty nice feeling. Yeah, it was an incredible feeling.
I can imagine. And if I'm not mistaken, you were the one who took the PK, correct?
I didn't take the PK. Our captain took the PK, but yeah, I got the PK for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's amazing. That's amazing. What was running through your mind as soon as the ref blew that whistle?
Yeah, you can't really
It's hard to explain.
It feels unreal. It feels surreal. Like you think you're still dreaming at the beginning because I mean you had a pretty bad start and you had to overcome so many obstacles throughout the season, and then when the ref calls it and everyone is running on the field and everyone is hugging each other, and yeah, it's incredible. It's like you just think it's over now, and there's nothing like that. That's the most you can achieve in this moment, and there's no step you could go further, and that's the end, and it's the end of the journey, and you're just happy because at the beginning of the season no one would have expected that. I mean, we believed in ourselves, but outside of us no one would have believed that. And yeah, it's just an incredible feeling. And at the beginning you like in the moment the ref calls the game, you can't realize that, but like a day or 2 days after you realize what you have achieved, and it's a pretty good feeling. Yeah,
I can imagine. So you mentioned that you became captain. Maybe if you want to talk to the audience about what it's like to not only go from non-captain to becoming a captain, what do you think? What differences did you make as on the field and off the field as well to become and get that captain role on the team?
I mean, I already belonged to the leadership group. We had a leadership group of 5-6 players. I always belonged to these 5 guys. I was among these 5 guys and always was, one of the leaders. But being a captain, I would say you have even more responsibilities, and you really have to lead a team. And they, especially the freshmen and sophomores, they look up to you, and you're kind of a role model. You have a very close connection to the head coach, and he talks to you a couple times a week and asks you if everything is going well. So, and you have to lead the team on the field, but also off the field. And I mean, if they do something wrong off the field, you have to talk to them, but also try to help them on the field and try to teach them to improve some things. So I think it's an increase in responsibilities. I mean, you have already responsibilities throughout. I had responsibility throughout my junior year because I belonged to the leadership group, but in the senior year, because also the fact you're the senior, they look up even more to you, and you have you're a role model, and you should do the things right and be a good role model. And yeah, I think that's the biggest part.
Right. No, that's important. And then as we get closer, so you graduated from Maryland, and so how'd you make the jump from college soccer now to professional soccer?
I thought I was invited to the MLS Combine in last year November, and or I think it was beginning of December. And I was still hoping that I would get drafted, but I knew the fact that I'm an international player and they only have, I think, 6 roster spots for international players, which they usually fill up with international stars. So that's pretty tough for international college player to get drafted and make the roster there at the at the MLS team. So I was still hoping, obviously, to get drafted, but eventually it didn't work out. And yeah, I was looking for other options, for opportunities. And eventually with my agent, I tried to figure out what the next step is. And yeah, I was in contact with a couple USL clubs, and I eventually ended up here because I had a good preseason here, and I liked it here a lot in the preseason, and I think I made a pretty good impression. And I also liked the whole setup here, the organization, the living situation, the city. So I made a decision then to sign my first professional contract here.
That's very exciting. Very, very exciting. That's really good. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So as we close in on the conference over here, the talk, the interview, whatever you'd like to call it, what do you think was the lowest point of your entire career, all the way starting from youth up until today? Where do you think was the lowest of the lows you've ever felt?
The lowest I've definitely felt during my injury, during my pretty heavy, severe knee injury, because I mean, you think it's the end of the world and you think nothing makes sense anymore in life. Especially I played national team. I was about to sign my first professional contract in Germany already. As still, I was about to sign a contract with a third division team, which is already considered professional. As a still under 19, as an academy player, they wanted to sign me. And it was pretty much the end of the season when I got injured, and I played national team back then. And I was living the dream, and I couldn't have been happier, and I was at a pretty good level. And then, like I said, there was like right after the injury, that was the lowest point of my career, where it was a pretty tough time. But looking back, like any, I would say, bad decision, or not bad decision, but any bad thing, any bad event has something good, I think. So I would have never ended up, looking back, if I wouldn't have gotten injured, I would have never ended up here in the United States. I would have lived here now and would have gotten this wonderful, amazing opportunity to play college, to win a national title, to graduate from the University of Maryland, and to end up here in Birmingham. If I would have been healthy the whole time, obviously I wished I would have been healthy, but everything bad has something good if you think long term. So that's what I learned from this bad experience, from this bad event. Yeah,
Definitely, for sure. And so after that, what do you think was the highest point in your career? And I know we spoke about a few highs previously, but what do you think the moment where you felt invincible, where it was just the best moment of your entire career?
I think my first, it wasn't the first cap game, but the first game for the German national team, for the under 18 team in Germany, when my dad could watch me at home in Germany, because the first 2 games in Israel he couldn't watch. But in Germany, my first cap game, he could watch live in the stadium. And that was incredible to sing and listen to the national anthem and play for your country. That was a pretty, against a good opponent, against Netherlands. So that was a pretty big moment for me, and I still enjoy looking back to that. And I would definitely say winning the national championship. These 2, I think, events were where I was most happy in my soccer career, or was the highest point. I mean, there were a lot of moments, but they were definitely the most 2 outstanding.
Definitely. And so leads me to the next question. So just a few general questions for you. What's your favorite club? What's the club that you support?
I wouldn't say I have a favorite club, but I like to I enjoy watching Barcelona.
The Tiki
nationally I like to watch Bayer Leverkusen in Germany.
Nice. Okay. And just a few more questions real quickly. Is there a certain player, a professional player out now that you look up to, someone that motivates you, inspires you every day?
Back then, I looked up to Boateng and Hummels.
Nice.
Right now, I like to, I don't know if you know this player, his name is, for example, Upamecano. He plays for RB Leipzig. I think, he's still a pretty young player, but I'll enjoy watching him. And also Rafael Varane from Real Madrid and Piqué from Barcelona. So basically, like all the good center backs from some good clubs. Yeah,
Exactly.
I try to learn and I try to watch them, what they do to implement that in my game.
Definitely. Is there, if you had a chance to swap jerseys with any player in the world, dead or alive, who would it be?
Messi?
Messi. Nice, good answer. And last question: if you could ask any professional player one question, who would that player be, and what question would it be?
Any professional player, one question?
Right. Yeah. Dead or alive?
Oh, that's a tough question.
It is. I put you on the spot.
Question. I mean, I would have just asked them how they deal with the pressure, like when they were young and made the first big game on the big stage. I would have just asked how they dealt with the pressure. I mean, obviously, I knew that they were working hard, so it would have been like not the smartest question if you asked them how they got there, because obviously it's hard work, it's a little bit of luck. But I would have asked how they dealt with the pressure, like mentally, and yeah.
Nice.
I think that's a pretty interesting point, how they dealt with it. Yeah.
No, that's interesting. That's a good question. But besides that, Johannes, thank you once again for taking the time and joining the podcast here. It was a very interesting conversation. I definitely learned a lot. I'm sure everyone else that's listening is definitely going to gain some kind of great knowledge from this. And yeah, once again, thank you so much for coming out, and really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for the invite. It was nice talking to you.
Definitely. Thank you. All right, guys, you take it easy. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
Bye-bye.